We are with the wonderful Amber McGinnis from the feature film International Falls. How are you doing today?
I'm really great. Thank you for having me.
For the audience at home, tell us a little bit about your feature film.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the story follows Dee. She lives in a small snowbound border town called International Falls in northern Minnesota. And she has these secret aspirations of becoming a stand-up comedian and has never really had the guts to pursue her dreams. And when a touring comedian who's sort of a deadbeat at the end of his road comes through town, the two of them meet and sort of become unlikely friends and start to explore really what's behind comedy and how we can bring our truth to the work that we do. So it's really a journey towards authenticity, and I feel like it blurs the line between comedy and tragedy in a really beautiful way.
So tell us a little bit about the casting, because what I really enjoyed about this film is that the characters were so relatable. You fell in love with them in the first 10 minutes of the film. So tell us about the casting choices you made and why you made them.
Great. Well, I adore our cast so much. Rachel Harris plays the lead, Dee, and she was really the first person that we reached out to. And it's funny, I actually listened to her on a WTF, can I say the What the Fuck podcast with Mark Maron, and he interviewed her, and she brought such authenticity to that interview. I was like, this is a woman that I want to work with, that I know would bring great authenticity to this character and to this role. And she comes from a stand-up or she comes from an improv background. So she was the first person to say yes, and then it just became about building a team around her. So Rob Hubel said yes, and he comes from an improv background as well with UCB. Really, one of my pieces of advice that I've been giving to filmmakers about what I've learned from this process is that having a good casting director is so invaluable, because Matthew Lessel, our casting director, was the one who put us in touch with Rachel and started to make all of this happen. It was really about connecting with a casting director who knew what we were after, with finding people who would really bring truth and authenticity to the roles and that have that comedy background,
Speaking of the improv stuff, so you're working with a bunch of improv people. What was it like on set? Did you just throw the script to the wind and, was that a guideline, just said, okay, what are you guys doing? So how close was it to what you actually wrote to what was finally on the screen?
I think we found a really good balance, because there were some scenes where we really wanted to stick to what was scripted, because I felt like the dialogue as written had been crafted in such a beautiful way, and we wanted to make sure that we hit all of those beats. But then there were other scenes, like when they walked downtown, that was just 100% improv, because we were just in town, and I said, okay, let's just go for it, and you guys riff on anything that you see. And it was amazing to have actors that you could trust to do that and have fun with it, and who are game to go out in sub-zero temperatures and find a way to be funny.
So the other authentic thing about this film is where you shot it and the set. So talk a little bit about where you shot it and how you picked the different locations, because what I really found, it was breathtaking. It was really well shot. Even the indoor stuff, it was, you look at the stuff like at the front desk of the hotel, just the little trinkets and the little stuff that you would find in a hotel in International Falls up north. Tell us a little bit about the locations and why you picked.
Well, with the title of the film being International Falls, it was really important to me to actually go to the town where the story is based, because you just can't fake that. So we linked up with the Chamber of Commerce there, and they supported us 100% and gave us permits to walk around downtown. We worked with Voyageurs National Park to go out on the ice lake and do all of that. And so we shot all of our exteriors in International Falls in March when there was still snow on the ground, and then we shot all of our interiors actually in LA. I had wanted to do them all there, but Rachel and Rob were both super busy with their own projects, so we could only get away for a week to do those. But the time in International Falls helped us all just dig into what the town actually felt like and what things looked like. So even though we were replicating the interiors in LA, we we had the International Falls newspaper that we could put on the lobby desk, and we knew how to kind of capture that spirit of the town after we had been there.
Has the chamber or any city officials in International Falls seen the film yet? And if so, what has their reaction been?
They haven't seen the finished product yet. The chamber, read the script before we came up. And we actually have our Minnesota premiere coming up in Duluth at the Duluth Superior Film Festival in early June. And I think a lot of folks from International Falls are going to be taking a bus down to Duluth to see it for the first time. So they'll all be seeing it very soon.
What was the local town folks like when you guys showed up with cameras and crew and microphones and lights and barricades? What was their reaction?
It was really supportive. Most people were really excited. The local newspaper came out and covered some of the behind the scenes stuff when we were out on location. And it was it was really supportive. I think some people were a little like, are they here to make fun of us or something like that? But when they saw that we were there with good intentions and that Rachel and Rob loved the people in the town and were like good-hearted people, not like scary Hollywood types,
right.
It was like, it just created this really amazing community spirit, It was great.
So we're at the Bentonville Film Festival in Bentonville, Arkansas, and this film festival has done a really good job to empower women filmmakers and inclusion and everything like that. And we just found out that you gave birth to a child while you're on the festival circuit. So
yes.
Talk to us about being pregnant, shooting a film, and, most people would say, you should be at home resting, blah, blah, blah. But tell us a little bit about that, because that's very interesting.
Yeah, it has not been easy. Giving birth to a feature film and a baby in the same year is no small task. But I've worked too hard for it, and I want to show my daughter that she has a mom that's not afraid to chase her dreams, because I want her to grow up to do the same thing. I was pregnant. We were shooting all the interiors in LA, and it was still early on, and I couldn't tell anyone, and everyone just thought I was crazy because I wasn't drinking coffee and couldn't go out for a beer at the end of the day. I was like sending emails to Atlanta Film Festival from the hospital when I was like in labor. It hasn't really stopped for me. I took a week off after she was born, and then I was right back into the mix. And it means a lot of sleepless nights, but I tell you, if anything's gonna prepare you for new parenthood, I think producing and directing a feature film, you don't sleep. You have like emotionally needy people around you all the time. It's kind of good training.
And I think this is going to be very special for your daughter, because, when she becomes a teenager, she's going to look at her baby photos, and it's going to be nothing but blue and red carpets and movie premiere stuff and everything like that. So we're at Bentonville Film Festival in Bentonville, Arkansas. Tell us a little bit about how special it is to have International Falls programmed here, Women-Centric Film Festival, and what are you most looking forward to this film festival?
Well, this is my second stop on the circuit, and I have just been overwhelmed with how supportive the whole thing has been, because I think with a lot of us independent filmmakers, we've made this thing sort of in a bubble because we don't have distribution yet. I'm still learning all of that, and they're really taking care to A, help us network with other filmmakers who have been through the same thing as us, and B, help us connect those dots. So we not only have the pride of having a finished feature film screening here, but that we can take the next step towards the business aspect of like selling our film and getting it out there so more people can see it. And we had a filmmaker retreat earlier in this week, and just hearing the founders and Gina talk about their mission behind this festival of inclusion, it just makes me so proud to have a film here and to know that we're part of supporting that mission.
So you made, independent film. It's scary to a lot of folks. So what was the most scariest thing about it, and what was the most rewarding thing about shooting International Falls?
I think that the scariest thing, it's really hard to direct and produce because you want to just focus on the art. but you've got to sign checks and the schedule's falling apart, or if a permit didn't come through. And so I feel like the scariest part is that every day there's a new crisis that you have to sort of tackle, and you have to keep a clear head, and you have to keep your composure so you continue to inspire and motivate your team. But the best part is that with every crisis, there's a little miracle that happens. And, for instance, every day we had a ranger out at Voyageurs National Park measuring the thickness of the ice. So every day there was a possibility that it was going to melt too much and we wouldn't be able to finish shooting our scenes out there. The day after we finished filming out there, they closed the road to the park. So that was an example of high stress and, sort of a little baby miracle that, we were able to finish everything out there before they had to close the park and the ice started melting.
With you being pregnant and the stuff with the ice melting, what did you learn about yourself that really surprised you?
That I don't stop. That no matter what's going on, when I'm on set, it's like the place that I'm meant to be, and I can keep my cool under pressure and handle things with kindness and grace. I think a lot of people have this old illusion that being a director means you're full of power, or that you're some sort of dictator or something like that. And while it's important to be a strong leader and have a clear vision, I found that being a leader meant inspiring people. It meant being out there when it was 10 below zero and, helping the guys shovel snow because we were, didn't have enough people on the crew to help. I was really in the trenches with my team, and I'm really proud of that as a director and as a producer, that I found a way to lead not as a power hungry person, but as someone who could inspire a team and lead with kindness.
So what's next for the film? You guys, I know you're on the road a lot with film festivals. So what are some of the future film festivals we could get you at?
Well, let's see. Up next, we're going to be going up to Seattle. So we have screenings there in mid-May and early June. I think, as I mentioned, we have one coming up in Duluth. And we have a couple others that I'm not allowed to announce yet. I guess one that I can share is that we're going to be at the Dead Center Film Festival in Oklahoma. And then our international premiere is going to be at the Revelation Film Festival in Perth, Australia.
That's awesome.
In July. So, yeah. So hopefully there will be more to come. Yeah.
What has been the audience reactions to this film? Because it's, like I said, it's beautifully shot. The characters you can really, become friends with and really get to know. What has been the reaction to?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. We won the Grand Jury Prize for Best Narrative Feature up at Ashland Independent Film Festival, which I'm just so proud and honored to be able to say that. And I think the thing that struck me the most when I was watching it with the audience in Atlanta is that, we took a lot of care to have the audience in the crowd during the stand-up comedy routines, what are the reactions that they're going to have here to the characters. And I was amazed how much the audience in the theater, their reactions mimicked what we had put on the screen. And so that was a lot of fun to kind of experience that. And I think that people have really responded strongly to the tone of the film, because it does sort of dance between comedy and tragedy in a really delicate way. And the response to that sort of tonal journey with the story has been really positive, which I'm really proud of.
So besides motherhood, what's up next for you?
Well, after, we have the festival circuit with International Falls and hopefully get it out and distribute it. I have a screenplay called Girl in the Red Corner that I've co-written with a playwright named Steven Spotswood that's about a female MMA fighter.
Oh, nice.
That I'm really excited about. So that's going to be the story that I'm pitching next. It's a really inspirational story and that follows another female protagonist who's a badass. So
are you
that's
into
the kind
MMA
of stories I want to keep making.
Or
what was that?
Are you into MMA yourself?
Well, I directed a stage version of the story. and then partner with the playwright to adapt it into a screenplay. And during that process, we did a bunch of training at an MMA facility in DC, and I have just fallen in love with the sport and what it means to people to participate in the sport, and what the journey of being able to fight physically teaches you in terms of fighting for things emotionally in your personal life. So that's really what the story is about.
Where can we learn about International Falls? Give us all the social and the website.
Okay, well, the website is internationalfallsmovie.com. We're on Facebook at International Falls Movie, and then on Instagram you can follow me at Amber Director or at Outskirt Media.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thank you, Dev.